2015 to 2017 Kawasaki Concours 14 ABS. Take a Ninja registered ZXTM14R, tune it for touring, and what have you got? If you guessed a Concours 14, you get the prize. Kawasaki delivered the 2015 Concours 14 ABS with a whole slew of improvements over the prior year, some cosmetic and some for performance, and carried that over to 2017. At the core, the Kawasaki kept the 1352cc engine derived from the Ninja registered ZXTM14R in a chassis tuned for touring. The sport bike DNA is quite evident in the overall styling, so whether you love it or hate it, you don't ignore the Concours 14 ABS. Slap some new paint it on for 2016 and we're ready to go. Continue reading for my review of the Kawasaki Concours 14 ABS. Low-speed maneuvering, rider comfort, safety and handling were all affected by the 2016 enhancements. A stainless bezel on the instrumentation gives it just a bit of bling, but revised ABS settings, stiffer rear suspension, reworked first gear ratio and a heat shield on the exhaust make noticeable improvements to the rider experience. The touring side of this sport tourer is evident in the rider triangle. By moving the handlebars closer to the rider than they are on the Ninja, you get a more upright and comfortable posture. The 2015 enhancements included a two-up, almost stadium seating style rider saddle that is more narrow in the front to make it easier to find the ground and a flatter pillion to improve passenger comfort. The saddle also got a slip-resistant cover to keep your butt where you put it, and some fancy double stitching to give it a clean, tailored look. If the stock seat isn't as terrific as you'd like, peruse the accessories catalog for the optional touring seat. Along with a more cushy ride, the seat is made from anti-UV material that keeps the seat from becoming a butt burner when left sitting in the sunshine. That may not mean as much to you northern folks, but those of us down here in the intense summer sun of the deep south really appreciate it. When standing still, a new from 2015 exhaust shield directs heat away from your legs. In an improvement aimed at wind buffeting when underway, the Concours has an integrated, multi-position vent on the electrically operated windscreen. The vent directs airflow around you and eliminates that low-pressure pocket behind the fairing. The Concours 14 comes standard with color-matched quick-release hard saddlebags that lock and unlock with the ignition key as part of Kawasaki's one-key system. To stow your gear and your bits and bobs, there is a glove box in the fairing and each saddlebag holds 22 pounds. For additional storage, hit the accessories catalog for an optional top case. Then you can have a super sport touring full dresser. Frequently, big tour bikes run with big, heavy frames to support the engine, copious amounts of body panels and fairings and variable passenger and cargo loads. Even frames made from aluminum stock necessarily add to the weight of the bike, so how do you get around that? Kawasaki says the aluminum monocoque body design holds the key. The body panels serve as stressed members, with the engine as the keystone that completes the assembly while bolstering rigidity, resulting in a lighter-weight but strong frame with just the right amount of give for comfort. Best of all, this design leaves the bike with a narrow waist, kind of the opposite of riding a barrel, so vertically challenged riders will have an easier time wrangling the bike than the 32.1-inch seat height might suggest. The steering head is set for 26 degrees of rake, and a 4.4-inch trail, numbers sure to uphold the factory's claim of nimble handling and quick reversals. New for 2015, a redesigned steering stem seal allows for easier steering control at low speeds. Kawasaki's choice of brake systems came off the top shelf. A pair of 4-pot calipers bind the dual, 310mm, wave-cut brake rotors up front, and a single-bore caliper binds the 270mm rear rotor. The factory used its self-named Advanced Coactive Braking Technology, KACT, with ABS to oversee brake operations, and that comes with some interesting features. Yes, you get the magic that is ABS, but that technology is fairly ubiquitous nowadays and nothing special. What is special is the linked brake feature that was revised in 2015. The ABS system comes with a standard mode that provides a normal feeling initial bite, then progressively balances the brakes as pressure is increased. The high combined mode links the brakes at the slightest pressure, and this balanced braking effort is especially good for highway jaunts, with or without the variable of passenger and cargo weight. Not to be outdone, the ABS also comes with two separate rider modes with varying levels of intervention to prevent wheel slip. A tire pressure monitoring system, TPMS, keeps an eye on the tire pressure for you, eliminating the need to physically check your air so diligently. Thin-spoked cast rims mount the 17-inch hoops, and the front wheel comes at the end of 43 mm, used forks with adjustable spring preload and rebound damping features. The monoshock in back works with the tetra lever linkage on the swing arm to support the rear, and it boasts a remote mount, spring preload adjuster and stepless rebound damping for easy and precise adjustments. As part of the 2015 improvements, the rear suspension has stiffer settings for better control and carrying capability. With 4.4 inches of wheel travel in front and 5.4 inches in back, plus the adjustable parameters, this suspension should prove adequate to the stated job of extended highway travel. They call this a sport tourer, and it wasn't hard to figure out where the sport part came from. That particular DNA was gifted to this ride from the Ninja ZX-14R, and even though it comes with more of a tour-tastic torque curve and power delivery, the Ninja roots come out in the performance. The 1352cc, 4-banger mill puts out some decent numbers, especially for a tour bike. With 100 pound-feet of torque at 6,200 revolutions per minute and 150 plus horsepower at 8,800 revolutions per minute, this mill can keep up with nearly anything on the highway under reasonable circumstances. Kawasaki's variable valve timing, VVT, fuel injection and ram air intake tracks contribute to this great power, and a fuel economy assistance mode makes the engine sip fuel on long hauls. The KRTC traction control feature rounds out the electronics by intervening to prevent loss of traction due to rear wheel slippage, a tasty feature for foul weather riders. A 6-speed transmixer sends power to the rear wheel down the tetra lever shaft drive with anti-squatting and lifting features, so you don't get that dreaded undangerous shaft behavior. A new first gear ratio, as part of the 2015 improvements, makes low-speed maneuvering easier and gives you better standing starts. MSRP on the 2016 Concours 14 ABS is $15,499 with your choice of metallic Moontust Gray or metallic Spark Black. You can get the metallic Spark Black in the 2015 My as well, but if you want candy lime green, you'll have to hit the leftovers at the dealers since that color isn't offered in 2016. For 2017, the Concours comes shot in candy imperial blue and will run you $100 more than last year. Kawasaki covers your Concours 14 with a 36-month limited warranty with optional Kawasaki Protection Plus for 12, 24, or 36 months. The Concours 14 ABS is such a super sport tourer, you might think it hard to come up with a head-to-head competitor. Okay, maybe you don't think it's that hard, but let's pretend anyway. Even though it's more cruiser-oriented, after seeing the Victory stunt team drifting, doing some choke and smoke burnouts and popping wheelies on those baggers weighing a full 100 pounds heavier than the Concours, I have to go with the cross-country. Visually, Victory and Kawasaki took different paths to achieve the same net effect. While the Concours is basically a Ninja with panniers with all the apparent DNA implied by that statement, the cross-country embraces a more relaxed and open style with more of an apple pie flair to it. At the end of the day, both will offer some protection for long highway trips, and it comes down to preference of style. The water-cooled, inline-4 engine on the Concours puts out some impressive numbers, but the Big Freedom 106.6 V-twin in the Victory muscles to the top with 106 pound-feet of torque, And you don't have to wind it up tighter than Dick's hat band to wring that power out of it, either, again with the preference. Purely performance-minded people may find the Kawasaki more attractive, but riders looking for a slice of Americana will definitely prefer the look of that big V engine and the distinctive off-balance lope in the exhaust note. Decisions. Kawasaki pulls out a solid win in the price tag column. You can score a Concours in metallic spark black, or in the new in 2016 metallic moon tussed gray for $15,499, but the Victory Cross Country in suede,